I was addicted to it. My dad is in prison, so there was no one really for me to talk to about sex.
They do not have nobody to talk to them about this. It's like, listen to this young guy right here. He's probably no younger than probably 16 or 15. And he admits that he had a problem. He was obsessing over it. It became an addiction.
I'm battling these inner, my disease or whatever you want to call it, but it's tiring living with OCD. It's just super damn hard.
I see that you went through a lot. I don't know if you ever gonna watch this video on YouTube or not. And every single thing that you have went through in your past, God will heal it from you. It's not a prophetic word. It is a word of encouragement for you and for anybody that watched this video. Welcome to another video. It's your boy Rich, or just call me Rich. And today we are reacting or responding also to Jubilee. I think I pronounced it correctly. Jubilee, Jubilee. That's what it's spelled. First video I'm gonna react to and responding to is the boys, and the next one's gonna be the girls. I'm gonna do it in this whole video. Before we do anything, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, comment, and all those good things. It's been a tremendous response from the last two videos we've been having. I want to make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed yet, it was over 100 views on the last video. That means there's 100 people that watched that video. So I need at least, if I get 100 views on this, I need at least 50% of y'all to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers. That's a new milestone for us from the beginning. Let's try to do it. God bless you all. Let's get right into it.
In an age of call-outs, culture wars, and perfect facades, people can be afraid to express how they really feel. So we brought together 7 strangers, protected their identities, and asked them all 7 burning audience questions. What will be revealed when we take the mask off?
If the answer is yes, you will flip on your light. Do you watch porn?
I'm really curious to see what they're gonna say on this one.
It's accessible, and because it's accessible and it's there, people use it. I'm one of them. I think most.
Right there. This is one of the parts I wanted to respond to. He said it's accessible. People can use it. I'm there. 2 things. The first one, it's accessible. It's a 100% correct answer. It is accessible. That's why pornography has been so devastating to America, the world itself, humanity as a whole, because it has destroyed so many people's lives and have not realized how much an impact does it have on the mind, your sexual nature, and how it affected the world and humanity in a whole. It changes your view about sex completely. And I'm going to talk about that more on how it impacts you and everything in another video. But I just want to point out, this shows you, and these are all teenagers, to let y'all know. These are all teenagers, the age between ranging from 13 all the way to 18, I believe. Say teenagers. I'm pretty sure they have some 17, 16, 18-year-olds here as well too. But that is one part of this video we're going to be diving into. This is to show you how this world has impacted our young people. Pause right there. There is no way you can enjoy pornography in a healthy way. Now you're gonna see other response saying that I watch pornography to learn how to have sex or to learn more about sex. That's the saddest thing to even hear, that they don't have nobody in their life that could really talk to them about having sex or what sex is, what sex was created for. People have to understand that sex is not a bad thing. Sex is a beautiful thing. God created sex for us to have sex, to reproduce, to fulfill the pleasures that God had given us, because you do have sexual pleasures. You do have sexual cravings, and that's not a bad thing. But we have to understand there is a way that God intended us to fulfill those pleasures in our lives. And that's through marriage. That is through marriage. Let's continue on.
masturbating in a healthy way, I think, then like by all means go for it. But
Yeah, I do watch porn. A lot of my teenage years, I spent a lot of time self-obsessing over it, to the point where it kind of became an addiction. And it took until very recently to get out of the hole of, paying for porn. I do watch it, but I don't like that I watch it.
So he has an addiction, and he admits the addiction. The first step to any person trying to overcome addiction is admitting to your addiction. Admitting to your addiction and admitting that you do not have the power to overcome it. That's one of the first steps in recovery. I'm going to be touching on those topics later on as well too. But the first step in recovery, spiritual recovery, 12 steps, is we admit that we are powerless over lust, that our lives have become unmanageable. That's the first step. So he has accomplished one of the parts of the step, admitting that you have a problem. You have a problem. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Make sure to subscribe to my Stop by Grace TV channel also as well too. If you have those kind of problems, we definitely will be tapping on those things in the future. Let's continue on.
I'm going to bring everyone else into the conversation.
I said no. I used to watch it a lot before. I would say I was addicted to it. My dad is in prison, so there was no one really for me to talk to about sex.
Well, I talked about right there. We already talked about it previously, a little bit earlier. We already said it a little bit earlier. They do not have nobody to talk to them about this. If you are a parent listening to this right now, you're watching this video, I encourage you, I urge you to speak to your children about sex. Tell them what it is. I know it's probably difficult. I know it's not the easiest thing to talk to your kid, to your daughter, to your son, but I urge you to tell them, because listen to this young guy right here. He's probably no younger than probably 16 or 15, and he admits that he had a problem. He was obsessing over it. It became an addiction. He couldn't manage it, and then it turned to an addiction. He admits that he did not have no one to talk to about sex. Nobody was there to help him and tell him what sex is and what sex was meant for. So all my parents that are listening to this, and future parents, I urge you to speak to your children about what sex is and what sex was meant for.
So porn was my education on sex.
From personal experience, it messed me up, because after watching it so much, I'm sure we've all been there where you're on page 5 and like nothing is right. Like you're looking for that right video, but your dopamine receptors and everything is so messed up at this point that the same thing that would get you off wouldn't get you off anymore, right? I went so deep into it where I'm a straight man, I started watching trans porn because it was just erotic in a different way that I've never seen before.
Very explanatory. This man have a little bit of background. He might have been studying how to overcome pornography. And he understands that it's a dopamine that's within the body. And he said he agreed. It says he agrees. So that means that he still agrees, that he still watches it. It became a problem. It became an addiction. He said it came so far that he went to go start watching transgender to get the same a stimulation in your mind, because you have to understand there's a chemical reaction that's happening with the dopamine, and your body gets so used to it all over again. So instead of just having basic pornography, your mind gets so addicted to it where you tend to lean off to the more deeper and darker stuff that you have no business watching whatsoever. And that's the problem. That's the problem. People say, I can manage it. I can do it once or twice in a week. No. You shouldn't be doing it at all, because it tends to change your mind, change the way you think about sex, change the way you think about women, change the way you think about sex in general in nature, and then you tend to go to other broads. This is deep. This is amazing. This is only one of the first segments I want to talk about, but I want to tap into this to show y'all what our children are going through. Now let's go ahead and go to the next question I wanted to address. I've been anxious about my penis size. Whew. Hold up. Let's see what this got to say.
I started watching pornography, I think around the age of 11 or 12. And that's a very impressionable, vulnerable place to be in. So of course, There's always these feelings about looking at your body.
Yeah, and I think the competition is probably what affects me the most part. You know, it's the thing you're like, I know good well there's dudes bigger than me, and she says it doesn't matter, but it still plays on my mental when I go to sleep at night.
All right, so yeah, like I said, they go back to the same question. Now, this is actually question number 3 questions later, but yet the topic of pornography still came up in this question. I'm telling you, the reason why is that pornography affects the brain in a way that it makes you think differently about sex, about anything you think whatsoever. Makes you think differently about it. So it proves you right there. Let's continue on and see what else they got to say.
Currently, I'm not really like afraid of the size that I have because I am kind of becoming more confident in my body and the way that I am.
Now, I believe this is the same guy that have stopped watching pornography too, as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think his name was Jared.
A lot of my teenage years, I spent a lot of time self-obsessing over it, to the point where it kind of became an addiction. And it took until very recently to get out of the hole of, paying for porn. I do watch it, but I don't like that I watch it.
Okay, so it's the same boy that the one that agreed to pornography, and now he's going back to talk about he's confident in his thing, which I think is kind of dishonest in my opinion, to be truthful. I don't think that he's very being honest about that question, in my opinion. Let's continue on and see what he has to say, though.
In my body and the way that I am, I don't really feel like it's going to matter nearly as much when you're with someone for 10 years as you are for like a one-night stand. So I am not personally like that uncomfortable with my size.
Everything
Okay.
that you just said, like, is
If he
true.
say, I believe him.
You become confident in your own self by knowing what people really look for. But like, it's hard to get on Netflix and watch Euphoria and think like these are like grown-ass men playing high school people, and you think like, well, that's not what I look like. And then you think about like every person that I have been with or will be with has probably seen this. I think that's really where that anxiety comes from. It's just the fact that other people probably have expectations.
Yeah,
I have questioned my sexuality.
I want to hear this one. The 2 of these, and then we go to the last
Growing
question.
up, I was never one of like the jocks of school. I always was into music. I was always into theater, and so growing up, I was always bullied because of that, because I was being too gay or whatever. And I always hung out with the girls, and so I definitely did kind of buy into what everyone else was saying, the peer pressure of like saying, "Oh, you're gay. This is how you're going to end up turning out because this is how you are now." With where I am now in my life, I've just kind of gotten to a place where I've grown to be confident. And I know what my identity is.
People thinking that definitely, like, it gets you thinking, it gets you thinking like, well, like, am I or should I be? It's like, should I be attracted to dudes because I like things that are quote unquote gay? But then I guess it just reveals the issue that like we've made certain things gay and made certain things straight.
Now, what he's saying is true. The society have made label things gay, straight, things like that, put labels on things. And I myself personally dealt with things like that as far as people labeling me, oh, you do this, you gay, or this and that. And that's the problem with a lot of things in public schools, and I mean, in general in school, period, and probably in public as well too. How people put these kind of labels on it, and then it actually affects young boys and also girls in a way that make them question their sexuality, because it makes them question their sexuality, because now people are labeling them in this type of typical way, but not really, people are not motivating them to go to the Word of God, to go to God, asking for the true identity in Christ, to really find out what God created them to be.
I do watch it for educational purposes.
I'm going to bring everyone else in the conversation now.
I feel like the whole concept of it is kind of corrupt, and it's kind of like objectifying women. If men go to, or women go to like the site and they're just seeing pornography, it's kind of like this idea that women are just objects.
Come on, Chloe. I love it. I love it. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. Now, either her parents taught her well, or she have been looking into it for herself personally to know these kind of things, these statistics. This is so true. And I hope these people that are listening to her, that's next to her, understand the danger, the damaging things, and how pornography is like the modern sex slave trafficking. And there's so much going on within that industry that people are not even aware of.
Because it's for the male pleasure. I don't even see it as an educational purpose because it doesn't show what
Come on, Chloe.
sex should really mean.
Oh yeah.
Back in high school, it would be so annoying because anytime I would want to wear like nerd glasses for like my style, I would be called Mia Khalifa all the time. It's just ridiculous. Like, not every girl with brown hair or brown skin looks like Mia Khalifa. It doesn't make any sense.
Crazy. All right, let's go to the next question I wanted to look at on this segment. Similar close to it.
I don't like the way I look.
Well, I've been getting better at it, like learning to like accept my body, like body neutrality, not positivity, body neutrality. Ever since I was like a young girl, I've always been like on the like chubbier side. I've recently been diagnosed with PCOS, which basically makes it like I have more testosterone in my body than what is the like normal amount for like females or women. In the past like year or so, I've been doing like a lot better and like learning to accept myself.
I see where this is going. I see what she's trying to say, and I believe this is a new scientific kind of reasoning behind boys or young girls or young boys transitioning to another gender, because science says since they have a high testosterone or their testosterone is lower or all these kind of things, they categorize them as a different gender. And this is the brainwash of the society and the world itself and Satan himself, who tried to deceive our young people into thinking that this is what you are categorized because of science. No. When God created you in the womb, the word of God said he knew you in your mother's womb, meaning that he knew what he created you in the beginning before your mother or father even thought of you. God already knew what he gonna create you as. So if you was born as a girl, God created you to be a girl. If you were born as a male, God created you to be a male. If you if you have this thought in your mind or decided to change your gender because you have a feeling, or that you feel this way, or that you feel that God this, that, or you feel that science tell you that you are this and that, when you do that transition, it looks like you telling God that he made a mistake. And I believe that God 100% does not make no mistakes. He's perfect, completely perfect. It's to show his glory and his power if you trust in him for your strength and for your guidance. He will show up in the midst of everything that you're going through. 100%. Let's continue on.
But I still I'm not there yet. I looked up to usually white girls. That's kind of like, even now, that's who usually get the hype on TikTok. Even on TV, I never really saw anyone who looked like me. I don't want to be white now, but I'm like, oh, I wonder what it would be like if I was white.
For me, I have a birthmark on my face, and so that used to be like a really big insecurity. I remember people would make fun of me when I was little, and so my mom used to tell me, don't feel like that, because you're so much more than just a beauty mark or a birthmark. I'm beautiful just like everybody else.
Come on, Chloe.
Except the fact that we're not the same. Body changes, and that's just the way of life. You can't really outrun yourself. If you're going to be stuck with your body and your face and everything about yourself, then you might as well love it.
Okay, Chloe.
That's a really good mindset. That's probably try to implement that's more.
Yes. I hope you listened to what she said about pornography too. Oh man. Okay, and I think I got one more question out of this one. I wanted to look at the last one, and then we done for that one.
Be honest about who I am.
I've been battling with mental illness. I am diagnosed with OCD, PTSD, anxiety, and I might get tested for bipolar. Being bipolar, you know, growing up, I experienced 2 murders. I've experienced sexual assault. You know, I grew up in South Los Angeles, which is a violent neighborhood, so I've seen a lot of dark. And you know, I was sexually assaulted by my own uncle, like, and my family. Yeah, they're right now trying to understand me, but they were, you know, in denial, and a lot of my traumas really affected me. I would say OCD really is affected me because it affects my relationships, because a lot of people judge me when I tell them I have OCD. And one major thing that people don't understand about me is I find it gross if you had previous partners, and a lot of people think it's because I'm misogynistic. I don't know what's the word, but it's not that. I've talked to my psychiatrist about this, and she told me that it's the fear of contamination. I'm battling these inner, you know, my disease or whatever you want to call it, but it's tiring living with OCD, and it's just super damn hard.
Alex, I see that you went through a lot. I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this video on YouTube or not, but I believe that you have a great testimony, and your past did not define you. This recent quote I just came across it was a great quote. It was stating that tomorrow and today cannot go together. In order for you to go ahead to where God is calling you to go, you have to forsake the past. You have to believe that God forgave you, and that God can give you the forgiveness to forgive your uncle, to forgive anybody that has hurt you. And every single thing that you have went through in your past, God will heal it from you. It's not a prophetic word. It is a word of encouragement for you and for anybody that watched this video. Anybody that has gone through trauma, that has gone through hardships and anything, and that is looking for healing from their past. I'm here to tell you that God is able to do it. And you're saying, Rich, how can you tell me this? How can you tell me that God is able to heal me from all these things I've been through? I've been through so much. I got molested when I was younger. My mom died. My uncle died. I saw my brother get shot in front of my face. I saw all these things happen in my life. How can you tell me that I am able to be healed by this? I can tell you this because I myself personally was healed by so much trauma. 1, my dad died when I was 8. 2, my brother got shot multiple times. I lost my mom recently, actually, from 2018. I lost my mom. I grew up homeless in South LA. I seen so much shootings. I seen so much drugs in my life. My mom was a drug addict throughout my whole life. My mom was homeless throughout my whole life to the age of probably 16 or 15 years old. So I myself personally went through a lot of trauma as well too. But I can tell you this right here, is that God is a healer and a deliverer. If you put your trust in Jesus, you put your trust in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, I 100% assure you, anybody that listens, not just Alex, but anybody that's listening, God is able to heal every single wound that is within your heart. And I got so many great videos, so many great video ideas for y'all. So stay tuned for that. But that's all for now. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, share this video with somebody to encourage them, and also give us some insight on what is happening now in the current day and thoughts. But it's your boy Rich. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace. Stop by grace.